We're now standing here at what's become the newly formed city of Starbase, Texas. This is actually the first newly created city in the United States in quite a long time, or at least that's what people are saying. The name is fitting, because this place is where we're working on the technology needed to take people, civilization, and life as we know it to another planet for the first time in Earth's 4.5 billion year history. Let's play a short video here. This shows how things started, with almost nothing around. It was just a sandy area at the start with nothing on it at all. Even the small buildings we now see weren't there back then. As you can see, that's the first test rocket. It looked like something out of Mad Max. It was during this time we also learned how important lighting is when working with rockets like that. Not too long ago, this area was completely empty. But in about 5 or 6 years, thanks to the amazing effort from the SpaceX team, we've managed to build a small city. We've also built 2 massive launch pads and a giant rocket factory for a very large rocket. And what's great is that anyone watching this can actually come visit. Our whole production site and launch area are located along a public road. So, if you're ever in South Texas, you can come quite close to the rocket and even see where we build it. You'll be able to see the factory and the rockets from a public highway, which is something no one could really do before. It's pretty awesome. This next part shows where things are as of 2025, this is Starbase now. We're at the point where we can build a new ship every 2 to 3 weeks. We don't always do it that fast, because we make design improvements between builds, but our goal is to eventually be able to make about 1,000 ships a year, that's about 3 ships each day. The building I'm standing in now is one of our key structures. Here you can see one of our booster rockets being moved down the road to the launch area. You'll also notice the massive production buildings, called mega bays. And again, all of this is next to a public road, so people can literally drive by and see it with their own eyes. The Giga Bay you see here is our big expansion plan. This facility is designed to eventually build 1,000 Starships per year. It's still under construction right now, but it's going to be a huge structure, maybe the biggest in the world by some measures. We're also building another Giga Bay in Florida, so we'll have 2 locations, one here in Texas and one over there. When you see how small a person looks next to these buildings, it really gives you a sense of their size. They are enormous. If we compare how many vehicles we're planning to build each year with companies like Boeing or Airbus, you can see just how ambitious this is. In time, Starship production for missions to Mars could match the number of airplanes those companies make for commercial use. Each Starship is actually bigger than a 747 or even an A380 airplane. It's massive. And with Starlink, we'll be making thousands of version 3 satellites each year, maybe up to 10,000 at some point. These new Starlink satellites are about the same size as a Boeing 737 aircraft, so they're quite big. Now, this is still small compared to what Tesla is doing. Tesla will likely be producing 2 to 3 times that amount in vehicles, so it helps give you a better sense of the scale. Even though these rocket numbers are massive by space industry standards, they're totally doable for humans. Other industries have already achieved this kind of production. At Starbase, we're measuring progress based on how close we're getting to building a self-sustaining city on Mars. That's our big goal. Each Starship launch teaches us more about what we'll need to make life multi-planetary. We're working toward a future where these rockets can carry not just a few people, but hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions, to Mars. The idea is to make it possible for anyone who wants to go to Mars to actually go. We'd bring along all the tools and equipment needed to help Mars become self-sustaining. That way, even in a worst-case scenario, where supply shipments from Earth stop, Mars would be able to survive and continue to grow on its own. At that point, we'll have created a second stronghold for human life. If Earth has trouble, Mars could help, or vice versa. Having 2 planets that can support life independently makes our future more secure. I believe that any civilization will last much longer, maybe 10 times longer, if it's spread across more than one planet. There are always risks, whether they're caused by people, like wars, or by nature, like meteor impacts or massive volcanic eruptions. If something terrible happens and we're all on one planet, that could be the end. But with 2 planets, we have a better chance of surviving and thriving. Eventually, we'll go beyond Mars, to the Moon again, to the asteroid belt, the moons of Jupiter, and even other star systems. One day, what is now science fiction will become real. To make all of this happen, we need rockets that can be reused quickly. That's the only way to make the cost of sending things and people to Mars low enough. Reusability is the key to making this dream affordable and possible. We joke about it being 4Rs, rapidly reusable reliable rockets. That's what we need. The SpaceX team has already done something amazing. They've managed to catch the biggest flying object ever built, several times, using a unique system of giant chopsticks. That's right, giant mechanical arms catch the rocket as it comes back down. This has never been done before. It's really wild when you think about it. The reason we're catching the rocket instead of letting it land on legs is to make things faster and more efficient. If it landed on legs, we'd have to go through the whole process of moving it, folding the legs, and setting it back up. But if we catch it using the same tower that put it in place to begin with, it can go right back into position and be launched again quickly. In fact, in theory, the booster rocket could be used again within an hour of landing. It only takes about 5 or 6 minutes for it to come back, and then we just refuel it in about half an hour and get it ready to fly again. Maybe it's more like every 2 hours in practice, but still, that's rapid reuse. The next step is to catch the upper stage Starship itself. We haven't done that part yet, but we're planning to try it later this year, maybe just a couple of months from now. After catching the upper ship, it'll be placed back on top of the booster, refueled, and launched again. It takes a little longer than the booster since it has to orbit the Earth a few times before lining up for re-entry, but the goal is for it to fly multiple times per day too. Now here's something really exciting, this is the new Raptor 3 engine. Big applause to the team that built this, it's amazing. The Raptor 3 engine doesn't even need a basic heat shield. That saves a lot of weight and actually makes it more reliable. If there's a small fuel leak, it just burns off in the open flame without causing damage. That wouldn't be the case if the engine were boxed in like most others, it would be very dangerous. This new engine will give us much better performance, higher payloads, and better reliability. It's a huge step forward. Some experts didn't even believe it was real when we first showed pictures. But then we fired it, and it worked better than anything before. It's just a very clean, efficient engine. To build it, we had to simplify a lot of parts and hide things like wires and cooling systems inside the structure. Everything's protected and tucked in. It's really a technical masterpiece. Another important part of getting to Mars is figuring out how to refill rockets while they're in space. It's kind of like how planes can be refueled midair, but this is with rockets in orbit. It hasn't been done before, but it's possible. Basically, 2 starships would link up in space. One would transfer fuel, mostly oxygen, since that makes up about 80% of what's needed. Once the ship carrying people or cargo is full of propellant, it can head off to Mars or the Moon. We hope to test this technique next year. One of the hardest parts of all of this is building a reusable heat shield. No one has managed to make one that works well and can be used over and over without serious repairs. The Space Shuttle had a heat shield, but it took months to check and fix all the tiles after every flight. That's not sustainable. The materials needed to handle the extreme heat and pressure of re-entry are rare, mostly things like special ceramics or carbon. The challenge is not just surviving the heat, but also making sure the shield doesn't erode or crack. We plan to use the same heat shield for both Earth and Mars. Even though Mars might seem easier because of its thin air, it's actually harder in some ways. The carbon dioxide in Mars's air turns into plasma and releases oxygen, which tries to burn the heat shield. So we have to test our design in a Mars-like environment. By keeping the same heat shield for both planets, we can test it many times here on Earth before sending it to Mars. That way, we'll be sure it works when we really need it to. We're also working on the next generation of Starships with several upgrades. These include a taller design and a better stage connection system between the ship and the booster. The new setup lets the flames from the ship's engines escape more easily during staging, which helps performance and safety. Tesla made a big impression at the recent Cyber Cab event by revealing its humanoid Optimus robots along with the launch of the new Tesla Robo van. The Optimus units walked onto the stage during the main reveal, capturing everyone's attention. These machines aren't just for display. Tesla's CEO Elon Musk shared a video showing some of their amazing abilities. In the clip, Optimus was seen doing everyday chores people usually handle, like bringing in a package from the porch and even watering some plants. During the event, Elon Musk talked about how these robots could easily fit into daily human life. He explained that Optimus could walk beside you in normal settings, and you could interact with it like asking for a drink or some help with household tasks. Musk went on to say that the robot could handle nearly anything you'd ask, such as walking your dog, babysitting children, or even mowing your yard. On the topic of cost, Musk estimated that these robots would eventually be priced between $20,000 and $30,000. Musk is known for making bold predictions, and he stated that the Optimus might become the biggest product ever created across any category. After the main talk, a live stream showed guests at the event getting a closer look at the robots. While the robots weren't showing their full range of skills yet, they did wave to the crowd and handed out small gift bags. One of the robots even played a quick game of rock paper scissors with someone attending the event. Even though the robots didn't yet perform more advanced actions like pouring drinks or detailed interaction, they still stole the spotlight. At one moment during the gathering, several Optimus robots were seen dancing together inside a small enclosed area, which added a playful vibe to the event. Last year, Musk presented the second version of Optimus, which was not only slimmer but also quicker than the first concept. Then, during Tesla's April earnings call, Musk revealed that Optimus would begin doing real tasks before this year ends and could be ready for public purchase by the end of next year. When the robot idea was first introduced back in 2021, many didn't take it seriously, especially since the initial launch featured a human in a robot costume doing a fun dance. By 2022, however, Tesla displayed a working prototype, although it was still in early stages. Now, Musk believes Optimus could transform society and have a major impact on economic growth. He also mentioned that there's a plan to produce these robots in massive numbers, possibly millions, with a future price tag close to $20,000. Musk even said this breakthrough could help lead to a world where poverty is no longer a problem.